and remunerated to the greatest possible extent. Entrepreneurs have the ability to change the way we live and work. If successful, their innovations may improve standards of living. And in addition to creating wealth with entrepreneur ventures, they also create jobs and contribute to growing economy. I, Sophia Pillai, wholeheartedly welcome you all to the webinar on turning crisis into opportunity and student entrepreneurship. Thank you all for joining us here today. Galgottias University opened its door to the first batch of 1,700 undergraduate and postgraduate students in the year 2011. In 2020, the university has grown to more than 16,000 students. Galgottias University is the youngest university to get accredited its courses from National Board of Accreditation, New Delhi, and is listed in top 150 to 200 universities under NIRF 2020 remarks. I now request our dynamic CEO, Mr. Dhruv Galgotia, to kindly give the opening remarks.
Now, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Firstly, I would like to welcome Mr. Nagarajan Prakasam, Angel Investor India Angel Network, for taking out his time and being present here today to address and guide our students on entrepreneurship. I also welcome our brilliant and passionate students who are ready to conquer the world with their exceptional skills and innovative ideas. I believe each one of us aims to be successful in our lives. Success is measured by each one of us differently. Uh, some of the students want to make a lot of money so they can buy their dream car or dream house. Some measure success by creating their startups and turning them into unicorns. Some students want to work in their dream companies and get that elusive 7-digit package. Some measure success by fame and how many views, likes, followers they have on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Uh, and of course, some measure success by leading a simple and joyful life. Everyone aiming for success and wanting to take the right steps on the way hopes and wishes that they get guidance and advice and of course support from someone who has already achieved milestones and they are yet to accomplish. Uh, but only a few lucky ones get the right kind of advice, and that also from the right set of people. It is absolutely true that there are several different ways to be successful in life. But the biggest question is how can one develop the ability to determine if the advice they are getting is receiving and they are receiving is useful, and how to improve oneself to put these tips and tricks of the trade to best possible use. So for that today we have Mr. Nagarajan, who is the best person to answer all your queries and questions on effective habits, nurturing and finding the right idea, getting funding, and any other questions that you may have. Uh, as he is the one who has experimented with a number of ideas and succeeded equally with all of them. I am delighted that with the online meet held previously and seeing the passion and the fire within each one of our students, I'm sure this kind of positive and forward looking mindset, success is determined for each one of you. So with this conference, I wish you all the success in your future endeavors and look forward for the session ahead. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. I now take this opportunity to request Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Preeti Bajaj, to kindly give welcome message and introduction of chief guest.
So good morning, everyone. One of our mentor, Naga, CEO, Mr. Dhruv, the deans, the faculty members, and all dear students and e-community. Very good morning, and on behalf of Galgottias University, I welcome Naga, the mentor, the entrepreneur, the one who has mentored maybe hundreds, thousands, and not only for entrepreneurship, but then he nurtured, he experimented, as rightly said by CEO. So I firmly believe, and along with Naga's advice, we have worked on that it's time for everyone at Galgotias to experiment and to see how campuspreneurs can be created. When I say campuspreneurs, so yes, you can be entrepreneur or you can be entrepreneur. And so we have our customers in the campus. We can start our companies. We can do all experiments. You can find out CEO, CFO, CTO, all in this campus. The campus has 20 schools, all in multidisciplinary approach is there. You don't have to wait for outside to bring your friends from outside. So 4 years or 3 years during your stay, grow, have entry, make exits, multiple exits, do your business, find your team, and find out and decide whether this is the correct platform or not. With this, we have even introduced right from first year the flavor of entrepreneurship. I'm sure after listening to Naga, you all will think about, can you think about, instead of going for dream companies, can this be your passion? And I'm really excited and thrilled to see the passion of the students, which they have seen. They have, the way they have worked for last 3 days to form the e-cell of Galgotias University. So thank you, Ravi, for taking this up and mentoring the students and forming the e-cell, which is going to be inaugurated today by Naga after this talk. So thank you so much for all your efforts. Naga, thank you for taking out time. I will try to read out your profile so that everyone can, understand what you have done. I'll try. I'm sure, I know I cannot justify the way you have worked and the way you have taken up campus startups, to the next level, but I'll try my best. So, Nagaraja Prakasam, angel investor, mentor, fund advisor, mentor in residence, NSR CEL, IIM Bangalore, board member of Action for India and a mentor at CIIE, IIM Ahmedabad, advisor to IIHR Bangalore, incubator for agripreneurs. Nagaraja Prakasam is a versatile and passionate leader with 27 years of global experience, a decade in US and rest in India. As a full-time lead angel investors, lead 15 deals, invested in 23 startups, serves 12 boards, seeing 6 exits and write-offs. Spearheaded Impact Thinking in Indian Angel Network and co-founded IN Impact. His personal mantra is startups should focus on India's strength, people, problem, and tech. PPT. He believes in hands-on approach and travels extensively in rural Indias and understanding the need firsthand. The Naga is sought after as thought leader in impact space and inspired many students as motivational speakers in number of colleges. His partner at Acumen New York, based on $100 million impact venture fund, and serves as independent director in one of its portfolio company, Guardian, a microfinance venture working in water and sanitation. His founder chairman of Native Angel Network by Native Lead Foundation, enables entrepreneurship in non-metros of Tamil Nadu with the vision of enable, nurture, incubate, invest. NAN has grown into 60 angels in Madurai, Trichy, and Coimbatore with 2 investments in less than a year, touching 120 startups, 37 colleges. His investments include Luminaire Organic, Sahas, Fresh World, and many more. He's serving on board for GoCoop, an online marketplace for cooperatives, Unifor, voice recognition for 14 Indian languages and 100 dialects. Pushes valuable information to 45 lakh farmers a day. Fresh World, farm to home vegetable using clean tech smart cards. Saha's zero waste management, recycling 20 tons of waste a day, and Rainstock affordable RWH, grey black waters recycling in Madurai. With this, over to you, Naga. Thank you so much once again, and welcome to Galgotias.
Great. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank
I think
you so much.
glad to be here. Great to see. Yes, Sophia? Okay, great. Sounds good. So glad to be here and good to see the passion. I think we have around 500 plus students eagerly waiting to see, what is this word entrepreneurship is, and that the whole country is talking about. So this is the unusual circumstances, but that's also an opportunity that I don't have to sit in a plane and maybe, just spend 2 days to come and see all of you. But that would have been awesome. But this is, again, is an opportunity that, very, very productively, we are all able to communicate and talk and share with each other. I think the technologies have evolved for 500 of you to listen to us and maybe, interact with us as well. So with that, I think we've titled the session as the crisis, right? So what do we mean by this crisis? If you look at today, this is what we are seeing is a crisis of a century. Because I have seen 4 or 5 crises in my lifetime, but it's all financial, right? In 97, we had something called an Asian crisis, where Singapore, Malaysia, the Asian countries had trouble economically. And then we have 2000. I think some of you might have heard about the Y2K problem. Year 2000, a computer could not say 4 digits of your year because we are all used to put a year as 80 or 75, but we never thought about 1975, right? So, and that's a simple mistake done by somebody maybe 100 years back. It was coming on haunt us that there is no place to store 4 digits because when we reach 2001, and where you are going to put, if you put 00, all the computers will die. So this was a major problem. It was posed that time. It's going to be, crisis. Every computer in the world is going to fail. And amazingly, the year 2000 problem created India's IT revolution. So people like us, I think we're all born out of that year 2000 problem, where we all started looking at how do you solve this problem. So what we need to do, we have to do painstakingly take every software code and just change that 2 digit to a 4 digit. And it created a $250 billion industry in India. There's one problem, not able to save 4 digits in your computer, right? So that's our 2000 problem. And so we finished the Y2K 2000 problem, and then internet boom started and people started looking at internet and it busted as well. It was crashing very, very sadly after the launch of it. And I was in a company at that time. So we were thinking, saying that, okay, we are in trouble. Either we shut down our company or all of us take a pay cut, right? We take very less salary and we understand what is this internet is. Can we relook at our product and then start looking at how can we resolve it? So all of us took a big pay cut. We worked for 6 months and reinventing our product to work on internet. So when the internet, the crisis was over, we are able to come back with a fantastic product that, people are very happy about, right? And 2008, we saw the crisis, right? 2008, what was the crisis? That in US, people bought houses left and right. Everybody bought house. And people who cannot afford house also started buying, and which created a problem. So what was the invention came out? There is something called blockchain, right? So what was the problem? They said the information was not shared with everyone properly. What is my ability to buy a house? It was not clear. So somebody developed something called a blockchain. So today that people are talking about blockchain. So like this, every crisis is an opportunity that created. Not only now, if you go back, the last time there was a disease in the UK and the colleges were, locked down. And Newton, when he was sitting in the house, the college was locked down because of the disease, and he came up with the Newton's 3 laws, right? It is not only now, hundreds of years back as well, that everybody started looking at how I can utilize this crisis and come out of it flying colors. And this is every crisis bring out an opportunity to everyone. Look at our own country, 92. The country was opened up through the foreign investment and the economic changes happened, under the last prime minister. And that was a crisis, right? The country had a very, very less exchange reserves available. We have no choice. We have to open up the country And today that created a fantastic, millionaires, and we have a lot of businesses came forward around that 92 things. So like this, every crisis, how you are going to look at, are you going to sit down and worry about, am I going to be in trouble? What's going to happen to me? And or are you going to turn around? Here is an opportunity for me, because the whole world is looking for a problem and a solution, right? Look at this current crisis. What is the difference among all the crises that I've known from 97 onwards? All these crises are all known as financial crisis, and we don't know what hit us. It took 2 years after 2008 crisis, Hollywood to take a movie and tell the ordinary man what was the problem, right? So it took 2 years to understand where is the problem started. But unlike now, we know what the problem is. Our only enemy is that simple virus, and it just not even have a single cell in it, and it's threatening the mankind. And what is the solutions and what is the options? The richest country in the world, US, right, with all the money in the world, could not save 2 lakh of its people. So now it puts things in perspective for everybody across the world. What are we chasing? And what are we looking for? What are the things that we need to be seriously looking at? So it will create amazing number of opportunities. Look at in the last 3 months, what happened in our own country. Farmers, agriculture. So I have an investment in a company called Fresh World. So we said that farmer, the number one reason he's having trouble, and every day there are 2,000 farmers leaving agriculture. So the number one problem in agriculture is that what you pay for your tomato, only 30% goes to the farmer, right? So what happened to the rest of the 70%? The tomato, what do you see in your table, does not have any makeup on it, right? What the farmers plucks in the field, it's coming to you. There is no change. But why there is 70% more price ordered into it? Because of the inefficient supply chain. So we started this concept called farm to home, right? These startups have started looking at, can we remove the inefficient supply chain? Can I bring from the farmer to the consumer directly? So this Fresh World was an attempt to bring vegetables to the farmers directly. So we've invented, we created an electric vehicle. We have a push cart vendors. There are 5,000 of them in Bangalore, and say, can we bring them into 21st century? Because if you see you buy your chappal, shoes in an AC showroom, but you buy your tomato on a pushcart van that's collected with the entire Delhi dust all over it. We never thought about it, right? But we still bargain with the pushcart vendor about 10 rupee tomato, but we'll pay $1,000 to buy a chappal which is sitting in AC room. So this happened even in Bangalore. There was a cold chain built up. The cold chain was too expensive. You know what was stored in the cold chain? The chappals, shoes were stored in the cold chain. So this is what this entrepreneur did, right? Fresh World. What he said is, there are, this push cart vending, the carts, is not gone into the 21st century. How can I take what is in it and then bring it to a 21st century? He developed an electric vehicle which can carry 250 kg of vegetables, so that he moved the push cart vendor into the electric vehicle that he can drive around. Your tomato is covered. Then you can directly buy from the farmers and sell these produce. So this is what a simple idea that is created. But in Bangalore, there's a place called Hoskote where most of the farmers enter. So there are people sitting there in Hoskote and threaten the farmer, why you are not going to the mandi? Why are you selling to the startup? So this was the problem that we've been asking for a change. Now we have a change. The government has removed the APMC Act and it is there, but if there's a liberal, the farmers can sell anywhere. So this is what about being pioneer about. People did not worry about the problem. If you're an entrepreneur, you will head on into the problem. Let's pause here. Let's understand what is this entrepreneurship that we are talking about, right? So, in a session which is interactive, I ask a question whenever I see a student. So I'm going to ask a question, and probably in a chat box, you can answer, right? How many of you can sing a song? How many of you can sing a song? Yeah? Just put in the chat box, I think, if you're able to attend to it. Yeah. How many of you can sing a song? Yeah. So you'll get maybe in a college, I get two people raising their hands. They may be part of that college orchestra, right? So I have this one person raise a hand now, right? So if you walk into a first standard classroom and you ask the same question, what he says, what will happen? Everybody will raise a hand, right? So what happened? You are all going through the first standard. So what happened between your first standard towards the college? So this what I call is about every yes and every no define who you are. You have no idea who you are anymore. The moment I ask a question, what went in your mind in 5 seconds, you're wondering about why is he asking this question? Is he going to ask us to sing a song? And I'm not a good singer. All of you are great bathroom singers, right? But there is a voice of judgment happened to you that stopped you, that put you down, saying that there is something wrong in this question, I should not get up. The two guys who said I can sing, people told them that you're a good singer, right? And they all appreciated him. Their parents have put them in some Hindustani music. 4 a.m. he was shouting. Now he's learned the music, that he has a confidence. So what this tells you is that every yes and every no define who you are. You have no idea who you are anymore. As a 5-year-old, as a 6-year-old in a first standard, you never bothered about what anyone thought about you. Today you worry about your hairstyle. Is it looking like a Shah Rukh Khan? And what am I wearing? Is it this latest trend that I'm wearing? Or what is my hairstyle is looking like? And what am I talking? All these things are all what I call is about fitting in the herd mentality. We want to be part of a herd mentality. We don't want to be unique. And all of you know, at least Janagana Mana, I'm not looking for A.R. Rahman audition, but people still worry about how can I sing. So what this has to do with entrepreneurship? I'll come back in a minute, right? The second question. So now you can probably see if you can put it in the chat box. You don't need to raise a hand, you can shoot in the chat box. Can you hear the sunrise? Can you hear the sunrise? Right? Anybody? Can you hear the sunrise? No. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of no's. Yeah, no. Right. Yes. Yeah. So we cannot hear the sunrise. Are you sure? Anybody? I got a lot of no's. Yeah. No, yes. Yeah. Yes. How yeah? Yeah. Super, Mihir. So Mihir answered, right? Mihir answered that bird chirping. So what does this tells you? That you're not waiting for one of your eyesight, one of your sense. Eyesight tell you that sun is up. You are listening to all your senses. That sun is up, right? I grew up, when I was in the town, in the morning we'll get water. So morning people get up and fight for water. So I know that sun is up. I need to go stand in the line to get the water, right? So this is what sensible to all your senses. If you're waiting for only one of your senses to tell you, and you're missing out what other senses are telling you. So what this has to do with the entrepreneurship? What is entrepreneurship? When everybody see a problem, an entrepreneur see an opportunity, right? When everybody is calling something X and you call as a Y, right? It's not an algebra question, right? If the whole world is calling a problem as a problem and you're calling that as an opportunity, the world will call you mad, right? And that is where that you need to have your first question answer. You don't bother. The more people are telling that you are on the wrong track, you are wrong, you are mad, and you are on the right track. That means that you thought about an idea that none of these guys, people have never thought about. So that is what innovation is all about, right? You are thinking about something that nobody has thought about. The more people come and tell you that your idea is really bad, you are on the right track. That means that you talk to more people about your idea so that people will tell you that whether your idea is bad or not. The more people are telling your idea is bad, you are on the right track because you have thought about something innovative that no one else have thought about. That is why that the second question is important, that have a gut like a 6-year-old, stand up and sing a Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Doesn't matter whether she learned Carnatic music or Hindustani music, and she knows how to sing, she's singing. So that kind of an attitude is required for an entrepreneurship. Why is the second question? So now you found a problem and call that as an opportunity. So what is next? You're going to work on a solution, right? You're going to go to your lab, talk to people, get the idea, talk to the person who told this problem, or you might have had your own problem. So you started validating your idea. Once the validation done, you're creating a solution. Then the next part is about you have to sell it to your customer, right? The person who has a problem should buy your solution, not your mom. She will buy all the solution that you have if you have money, if she has money. So you're giving your solution to the person who has a problem, and she's happy and she pays you money. Because a paying customer is very, very important in business, right? If you're very happy about a product, you might have told 5 people that I'm very happy about this product. But you were unhappy about a product, you will tell the whole world. You ensure that this product is dead. That is why in entrepreneurship, in business, customer delight, having the customer happy is a very, very, very important thing that is you need to look at from the entrepreneurship. So what we have done, we found a problem, we called that as an opportunity, and we found a solution. We sold the solution to a person who has a problem, and we got the money. That's all entrepreneurship is. But how the second question is important. You need to first identify the problem. That's where we have a problem, because we lost the sensitivity. If you look at all your 6 senses are telling you what is happening around you, but you become numb to a problem. Why? You assume a 5-year-old child, you give her a toy to a 5-year-old child, what she does? She knocks it out on the floor and she tried to break it up. She put it in her mouth and the mom will tell you that it's not edible. So then she'll realize that, wow, it's not edible. So she's exploring the toy with all her 6 senses. This is called childlike curiosity. We all had it. When we grow up, we all lose it. Because in this internet world, and I'm sure with the digital, and people will say that I can watch this video about surface tension or hydraulics, like 2 minutes Coursera video, that this faculty is boring. Then you know that I know hydraulics, right? So we are in a fast world that we watch a 5-minute video and understand that I got an idea, right? And so this is where you lost the ability to look at everything as a childlike curiosity. When you look at everything like a childlike curiosity, you will pick problems. Your sensitivity improves. Right? When your sensitivity improves, you're applying all your senses, what they're telling you. If you're in Delhi, you have all these complaints people make, right? Whether it is politics, or corruption, or a pollution, or a potholes, or what is happening in the nearby Haryana, or people, the Gurgaon, the building is built, but the villages are poor. All these things, this is bothering you. Are you getting sensitive enough? You're seeing a 12-story building. Behind the building, there is a slum. Did we ever watch the slum? That why these people are in the slum, but in front of them, there is a 14-story building, people living in AC, right? Or air condition in a Delhi climate, but the people in a slum, look at with the extreme weather condition, they are struggling. So all these things will start bothering you. When things start bothering you, that means that you have more sensitivity. From the sensitivity, you will start realizing that, wow, how can I start looking at this problem? And they'll start looking at how can I start going to the next level of solving this problem. This is what entrepreneurship is. So to become an entrepreneur, you need 2 qualities. One is your ability to sing a song, and you need to be able to hear the sunrise. If you have these 2 capabilities, and you can solve any problem, because business is a business. Whether you're selling idlis or t-shirts, or you're writing AI algorithm, or you're sending rockets to the moon, everything is if you look at from the entrepreneurship side, this falls in the simple fundamental principle that problem, solution, customer. That's it. If these 3 are aligned, you have a business opportunity that you can move forward. So now, in the Indian startup ecosystem, there are quite a lot of things happening now. and where you want to focus, right? If you look at, in India, we have a category, 3 category of startup. The first category is all about the 250 million who have an internet access, right? Today, that everybody, all the e-commerce, all targeting that 250 million. We need to increase the number, but depends on who you talk to, that number remains the same, right? If you look at in a college, I was talking, and one of the students was pitching an idea, and he said that I have around targeting an internet users. India has 650 million internet users available. I said, this is really awesome. And we have 400 million people in India do not have electricity. 250 million are children, and 350 million do not have food to eat. How come we can have 650 million internet users, right? And so he has no clue. And I asked him that this data, where is from? He said, I got the data from Google. I said, awesome, Google will give you good data. But how do you look at your data? I asked him, the student, that how many Google accounts that you have? The answer is that he has 30 Google accounts. So from the Google perspective is the number of internet users. And a student like yourself having 30 accounts, the number goes up. It's good for the company, but not good for the entrepreneur. So you need to start peeling this data, start looking at who we are really. So this is where that 250 million may be having internet access. A lot of these startups have started reaching out, saying that I will sell internet, I will buy you, and take the idli forward. So in 2015, we have 85 e-commerce companies have started. How many survive now? Maybe 2 or 3. Why? Because everybody targeting a smaller segment of the country, which has a very good internet access. So that's why they fail miserably, right? So why this internet access, 250 million is still a big number, right? Why it is a problem? Let's look at what India is. There is a thing called GDP. We measure the country's growth or the abilities by a gross domestic product. So India's GDP is around $3 trillion, right? And we have 1.3 billion people. That means that per capita income, how much income per person makes in India is around $2,000. So if you make more than 1.5 lakh in a year, you are rich in this country. Is it good or bad? It's really pathetic. We are a low income country. Bangladesh is going to become a middle income country faster than India, right? We are a low income country. So then 250 million looks pretty big, right? So then US is 300 million. So 250 million people have internet access, looks like US. But what is the US GDP? $20 trillion, right? So people, 300 million makes $20 trillion. That's almost, $20,000 to $30,000 per person makes in US. In India, $2,000. How about China, right? We always say that we are next to China in growth and all. So China is GDP is $12 trillion. They're almost 4 times bigger than India. So Wall Street Journal predicts that it's going to take it's going to take probably next, 20 to 30 years, right, for us to catch China if they freeze the economy growth. So this is where we need to look at that. What is the problem in the first place? Who we are. As a student, you have some internet access. You're all looking at, wow, Mark Zuckerberg is talking about it. Elon Musk is talking about it. This is what happening in the US. They start copying these ideas from US and China. They start implementing in India. But we are not US. We are not China. We are India. We are not even India. We are a Bharat. Right? 250 million people that every startup focus on, which is India, which has a disposable income, which can speak English, and which has internet access. There's 1 billion people do not have many of these. That's where the market is, right? But that is not there in the internet. If you search for the problems in India to solve, you're not going to find these problems because no tribal person sitting in Dantewada putting a blog saying that come and solve my problem. If we search internet solving problem, you will find US and China problem. So that is why majority of these startups are focusing on solving these problems. It is very tough for them to start solving that problem because they have not analyzed what is for India. E-commerce, right? It started in 2000 crisis, as I mentioned, .com, internet boom. It took 15 years for e-commerce to pick up in India. Why it took 15 years? We have a trust problem. People are wondering about who is this guy is going to take my money and run away, right? Because we are a trust deficit country. We don't trust our neighbors. We don't trust our siblings. Look at the Ambanis fighting, right? Doesn't matter whether you have money or not. We have a trust problem. So they solved the trust problem with the cash on delivery, right? They said that product will come to you. You pay after you see your product. You trust me that I've sent you a product. You pay me. So it took 15 years for that, right? So what are the learning? You're just merely copying one word. You have to understand the psychology of your customer. Connecting technology with the psychology of your customer, you'll be able to grab this opportunity faster. So it took 15 years in that process, right? So this is where the trust category of startup is doing. They just start emulating what is happening in the US and China, try to put it in Indian market. There is nothing wrong in it, but are we internalizing, are you localizing to the Indian trend, right? That's the number one. Number two category is what my favorite, I call it about playing on India's strength. India's strength is, I call this about problems. As Preeti mentioned earlier, people, problem, technology. India's strength is our problem. Every day since the morning you get up till you go to bed, look at all the complaints you make, right? About everything, the pollution, the internet speed is not good, or, there is a farmer committing suicide, or there is a, politician, there is a corruption, there is a pothole in my road, or, the electricity is not reliable, my water is polluted, my air is polluted. Every complaint you make, it's a business plan. It's an opportunity for you to solve, because every problem is an opportunity. Every crisis is an opportunity. Once you identify this problem, bringing technology, you are in this engineering college and you're all learning physics, chemistry, biology, electrical, electronics. Apply what you're learning in the technology. Technology doesn't mean that IT alone, information and technology alone is not technology. Technology could be anything, chemistry, physics, even geography, even in Ayurveda, you can bring technology. In European don't buy Ayurveda product. Why? They say that you're using mercury. But we say that it's a 5,000-year-old tradition, and we have, it's proven people are using Ayurveda in India. But Europeans say, no, you're using mercury, which is a poison. So we need an IoT device to show that this residue does not have a poison in it. So that's again technology, right? You can bring IoT. So bring technology is an enabler. What is important is what problem you're solving, what is the solution, then can you bring technology. So I'll give you some of the examples of, people how wonderfully use technology to solve these problems, right? So waste management, right? You have waste everywhere today. And, Sahas, Vilma. So what she said is that why waste is lying around. We are paying the government to pick up the waste. Why it is lying around? Everybody wants the waste which has value. If somebody is calling a waste management company, can they buy your used up mask? Or can they buy your, a sambar bag or a kurma bag or your sanitary napkins? These are all the waste that nobody want to buy. They want to buy your newspapers, mobile phones. She went to people and said that I'll make you zero waste campus, but you are the culprit. You made the waste. You have to pay me. So she get money from the customers. And then she created a zero waste campus. IIM Bangalore is managed by, Sahas. It's a zero waste campus. 95% of what is collected there, it's get recycled. Now, what do you do with the wet waste? You can create compost. So I'm sure people in chemistry, chemical engineering, that, with the wet waste, you can create biogas and you can create a compost. Biogas is a 100-year-old technology. 80% of the biogas plant in the world is in the country is flop. Why? It has inefficiency. The resultant gas has carbon dioxide, it has moisture, it has H2S as well. So the efficiency is bad. But we were all greedy, right? We thought that you put any biomass in it, it'll create a waste. You started dumping with all the junk. It just spoiled the whole bacteria. It killed the bacteria. So, of Carbon Master, what he has done, he picked up a poultry and where the farm, they had a biogas plant. They were just burning the gas because there was no use for the gas. he just used the compost. He sat with the farmer 2 years, took the gas, started filtering every gas. And the resultant gas, after the impurities are filtered, the resultant gas is better than LPG. He took an exclusive license, put the gas in the cylinder, and started selling it to the restaurants. So today there is a restaurant in Bangalore, it's called Konar. They call it the Green Konar because they have carbon neutral idli in the menu. Because the gas they are making the idli with, it is used by the waste, right? So now, yesterday, he launched the model because he saw the current crisis. There are 11 million people went back. People who lost livelihood in rural areas, who went to city for living. Today, they're not, the daily wages are struggling. They went back to their villages. Today, they started a campaign to create a micro entrepreneurs who can sell these organic manure, right, to the farmers. So we launched the campaign yesterday, converting this crisis into an opportunity. People who went back, they can become an agripreneur, started selling organic fertilizer to the farmers so that they're not dependent on the fertilizer alone, urea alone, right? So this LPG today. So country has a trade deficit, right? Number one reason is they are importing oil. And today with the waste, 40 ton of waste, we can make 1 ton of LPG. India makes 160,000 ton of waste every day. And look at how much LPG you can make. That means that much number of less LPG import. 2 weeks back, RBI announced that bio-CNG, right? If you are building a bio-CNG plant, it is a priority lending. A technology which is 100-year-old and people consider as a flop, it is revived by one entrepreneur in India. It does that in Bangalore, and we have one plant in Indore where the vegetable mandi in Indore is completely converted into bio-CNG, and we pump the gas in the buses. The Indore buses running in bio-CNG coming from the waste. And it was launched by the Prime Minister. Now in the budget, they're talking about the bio-CNG. This is what one entrepreneur took the crisis, took the problem in the hand, addressed it, applied what he learned. He learned climate engineering. He learned chemistry. He applied why the biogas is not working. He solved the problem. Today, he's helping the country. Right? The Prime Minister is talking about it. It is part of the it is part of the budget. It is now RBI is recognizing bio-CNG can solve India's energy needs so that it can build a sustainable model. So this is an ability of it, right? My next investment in organic store, right? So now this organic store is selling this organic fertilizer. They're using this fertilizer in the farm. So in IAM, Sahas is collecting the waste. The waste is given to Carbon Master, converted to gas and fertilizer. Lumiere Organic buy the organic fertilizer, put it in the farm, growing vegetables. So this is called circular economy, right? So the waste, the food waste I throw in IAM coming back to my house as a papaya. And I can calculate the carbon for around it. And look at all these four entrepreneurs, how they solve this problem amazingly well. Looking at this problem in each level, applying the technology. China took earlier, both Som and Wilma, and say that how are we solving waste problem. US, Wilma went and spoke to UN about how to manage waste. Germany called, Carbon Masters and saying that how well they are solving waste problems in Bangalore. Right? This is about simply taking a simple problem, going deeper, and coming with the fantastic solutions about how are they solving the problem. So we have a entrepreneur in Kerala. He's looking with the farmer. Kerala with the natural beauty, highly educated society. The moment the more education is coming in, people don't want to go into agriculture. So they buy vegetables from Tamil Nadu, right? With the great, water, natural resources, nobody wanted to do agriculture. That's what one entrepreneur did. He quit his job, he went back. He collected 30-year-old, around 300 of the farmers. He said, you grow these vegetables, and you grow exactly what I tell you to grow. Don't grow every village, grow tomato. Oversupply, price goes down. they have to throw the tomatoes. Everybody grows multiple crops. It tells exactly what to not to grow extra, so that you don't oversupply, the price will come down, farmer will have a problem. This side he goes and tell the customer, every village I have an agripreneur. Agripreneur enter the information about what are they entering, that what fertilizer I'm putting, when did I sow it, what is this disease I have, when this tomato will be ready to cultivate. All that thing this agripreneur is entering in the application. In the customer side, if you walk into the store in Cochin, you scan the QR code on our crate, it'll tell you where this tomato came from, which farmer grew it, where it came from. This is called traceability. We can simply put a blockchain on it. So people talking about blockchain, but it is all about solution. So what is important is that what problem you're solving, we can plug in technology easily. Today in the whole country, is only one entrepreneur who can tell what he called know your farmer. Every tomato he has, he can trace it back to that which farmer grew this tomato. And people are happy. During this crisis, he grew 400%. Because before the crisis, people did not understand what is farm to home means, right? Everybody claimed farm to home. Yeah, everything comes from farmer. But how many hops between you and the farmer, right? The biggest e-commerce company in Bangalore used to have farmer picture one side and Shah Rukh Khan picture the other side. So I have to say that who makes more money, right? So they removed the farmer picture and put the Shah Rukh Khan both sides. Because everybody, misuse the word that I'm buying from the farmer. But when the crisis hit, the supply chain is broken, right? All the mandis are not operating. Farmers are struggling to sell their product, market their product. So that is when Farmers Fresh Zone model is proven, because he directly worked with the farmers. All the 300 farmers that he is working with never had a problem of market. And the more farmer joined his bandwagon, he's able to grow 400%. Before the crisis, when people ask Farmers Fresh Zone, what company you are you a consumer company or you a supply chain company? He used to tell them that I'm a consumer company. I'm creating India's first branded vegetables, where the vegetable knows where they came from. People did not understand. Now everybody understands what farm to home means. Even the government of India relaxed the norms on farmers selling to startups directly. So this is how to tackle the crisis, how to be a pioneer in the trend that you are creating, then you can become a leader, right? There are 4 VCs want to invest in his company now because you grew 400% during this crisis. During the crisis, people wonder what will happen to the economy, things are bad. That is where the opportunity for entrepreneurs. Each one of you start looking at this problem and can you create opportunities like Farmers Fresh Zone has grown 400% during this crisis, right? Telemedicine. Health is the number one problem today. In the current crisis, there are 4 opportunities, right? Number 1 is health. Anything around the health, if you are working on it, there's a great opportunity for you, whether it is a ventilator, whether you are finding a vaccine or the immunity booster, or you are able to find mask which is reusable, or is there an oxygen purifier? Anything you apply, anything around the health, there is don't need marketing. People are lining up to buy for our product. Yeah. So this is where the opportunities are coming to you very, very often, right? Health. So that is what telemedicine is, right? So look at the telemedicine. So one company I've invested, it developed video conferencing because 68% of India lives in villages where 2% of doctors are available. So you and me, you can go to the city doctor and take and come back and start working. But a person in the village, she has to take half a day or 1 day, go to the nearby place to do it. And he lost his salary, daily wages. He takes a friend, his travel costs and his wages for what is costing you and me, it's costing 4 times more for a person village. That is what Neurosynaptic Communication did. They developed 32 diagnostic tests, which is very bulletproof. that even a 10th pass lady can run a diagnostic center. 2 lakh one kit, 32 diagnostic tests, and she can go to the home and start diagnosing. She opened her tab and connect. The doctor sitting in Delhi or Bangalore or Mumbai will answer the questions of the patient, diagnose or remotely and provide the medicine. She types the medicine detail in the Bangalore and it gets printed out in the village, right? You can do ECG through the internet. It was developed 18 years back with the partnership with IIT. So today telemedicine is hard. Everybody wants telemedicine, but this entrepreneur, Neurosynaptic Communication, developed this 18 years back. He is in 2,500 villages, helped 50 million people. Today government is calling him because telemedicine regulations were very tight. All the changes what this entrepreneur wanted, it is available today. So this is what a pioneer does. What an entrepreneur with the vision does. It doesn't bother about what is available today. People will call back. His video conference, he can work on 64 kbps. Today we are talking about 100 Mbps speed that I have. Still it says, internet's not stable. But his technology works at 64 kbps. Any part of the country with a simple one BSNL line running through, he can have a diagnostic center possible. Today, that telemedicine he developed, whole country is wanting it. This is what about every crisis provides an opportunity. So health, anything you do. Next is about essential, food. Food is very important now with the lockdown. Whatever you are doing to help with the farmers, you can do that. I'm advising on a project with Principal Scientific Advisor Office. We've started because there are 11 million people, rural youth, went back to the rural India. So agriculture, many of them are with agriculture background. We are trying to help them. So with the PSA office, we opened up technology sitting in all the labs of IITs, ICAR, CSIR labs, and many government labs, institutes. There are around 1,300 technologies. It's in one place called Kisan Mitra, right? And we at this side, we brought out FPOs, farmers, and NGOs, students like yourself, startups, so that there are 1,300 technologies available. You can take this to the market. A simple thing like, for example, in a place called Madanapalli near Bangalore, every tomato season, they threw the tomato on the ground because the oversupply of tomato. It doesn't even cost, it costs them more to bring the tomato to the market because tomato is 2 rupees a kg. So they throw the tomatoes out. So there is a technology developed sitting in ICR, IHR, Indian Institute of Horticulture Research, 2 hours drive from this place, how to preserve tomatoes. How can you make a value addition to tomatoes? But this connection is what we are doing in the Kisan Mitra platform. Every Saturday, every Tuesday, every Thursday, we are having these innovators come and talk to the people. And these startups are buying this technology. There is a startup in Manipur buying a technology. How can he preserve, make fruit juice out of this wild fruits is available in Manipur. That technology developed by somebody in Punjab. So now he is buying. Like there are 1,300 agriculture technologies available. We have another 1,000 technologies coming forward. We are going to put it in the system. All of you are encouraged to go and put it. I'll put in the chat box, the website. You go visit and you can start looking at how you can leverage that as well. It is initiated by the government now. Yeah. So like this second is about the essential. The third is about education. As we have seen that online education is possible, and all the people today in all over India is worrying about how can I take this forward to the people. It's not only the internet. There are people who don't have internet access. So there is a technology developed that we funded. This person developed the technology that you can go to one internet, put it up in your device, and connect with your TV. You can learn using a TV. Right? It's just not about, always internet always, because we are still poor country and everybody cannot afford internet. They don't even have a device. So people are finding out different ways to take the learning to the people. So here is an opportunity for you to start looking at that. How can you take these opportunities to the people for this? So like this, there are multiple things that is available. We can compete with across the world. I'll give you one last example. It's called Unifor. Speech recognition. In India, only 250 million speaks English, 1 billion do not. We have 675 languages in the country, right? Many languages doesn't even have a script, but it's been spoken for thousands of years. This is a problem Unifor wanted to solve. Umesh went to IIT Chennai, said, I want to bring them to digital revolution. They developed 15 patents with IIT Chennai to recognize 100 dialects of India and around 16 languages and 100 dialects, right? So they brought all these people into digital revolution. This person was working on 5 years on this technology. He collects a weather forecast, converted into Tamil, calling 40 lakh farmer every day, telling them what the weather forecast is today. So this is what they start looking at. So this entrepreneur was rejected by 20 investors. So that's what, as an angel investor, what do I look? It's about that perseverance. This entrepreneur, when 20 people said, you are wrong, you never bothered, is like the first question. He was keep singing his song. And he was sensitive enough to find the problem. As long as problem is original, your solution is authentic, your problem is valid, your solution is original, never give up. Don't listen to anybody. That's what Umesh did. After 400 years of British ruling, only 250 million speaks English. It's not going to change overnight. So the problem is valid. The solution is developed. It is working for the farmers. It's working for microfinance. And they use voice as a password to collect money. No fingerprints, no signature. They go tell them, because you use your fingerprint, your iris, your voice has a fingerprint as well. So your voice is unique. People just say their phrase, their word, their name. System will recognize that is Naga, he'll give the money. So that's what he developed. So I said, I'm going to fund you because you found an amazing problem to solve and you are on it for 5 years. When everybody said you are wrong, you never listened to it. I funded him. Next year, the Time magazine recognized him as a millionaire who are changing the world because he was bringing 1 billion people in the digital revolution. Cisco, the company who makes a lot of telecom equipment, Cisco chairman saw this and he wrote a $10 million check to this entrepreneur. And he took it to US. Today, the technology we developed for the farmers of Tamil Nadu, the tribals in Gujarat, is helping MetLife Insurance. Right? Today, he's competing with in speech recognition. Who's competition? Google, Apple, Amazon. A Chennai-based company with 15 patents is competing with companies which have $1 billion of R&D budget. And today, he is the winner. Why? He worked on a simple problem in India about how to simplify the diversification in India, and he worked on it, he figured out, right? The company rejected by 20 investors that have invested because of the entrepreneur. So the number one as an angel investor I look at as an entrepreneur is the ability to figure out how can I convert this problem into an opportunity, right? The second important thing is about, is this solution scalable, right? Is the number, you look at the Sahas, waste management company, 160,000 ton of waste in Bangalore, as in India. In Bangalore, she managed 100 ton and she grew around 500% since I've invested. Carbon Master, converting bio-CNG, right? Helping the country. And the need is humongous, right? Farmers Fresh Zone, thousands of farmers back into agriculture profitably. Unifor, amazing, unique problem. The company rejected by 20 investors. I've invested 5 years back. Today, it is worth $1 million, my investment. So this is what we start looking at about what we look at is an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur look at every crisis and opportunity. Lastly, as a student, you are in the best place to start because you don't have any family pressure now. You are a first year student, this is the best time to start for you because by the time you graduate, you have a revenue. You don't have to worry about placement, right? Because There are thousands of problems today with this crisis. More and more problems are opening up for you to start looking at, apply what you're learning, whether it's physics, chemistry, biology, all that, you need to apply that. You can start working on it, right? The other part is about, I'll give you an example. There's a company in Chennai. This girl met me after the college, and she was helping students to make, she was winning robotics competition. And she met me, said that I want mentoring. And I said, what are you doing? I support teaching children, 13-year-olds below, how to do robotics, coding, online thing. And she was already running a company with profitability. I said, you don't need mentoring, take my money and go. So what she did as a hobby in college, and she started winning competition. She started teaching her friends to how to build robotic kits. Today, she has 85 centers across the country, and during this crisis, she taught 1.5 lakh students how to make Android app, right? So she started this when she was a student. When she graduated, she has 30 lakhs in the bank. The parents did not ask her to go get married or, go for higher studies or take up a job. Today, look at the e-commerce become a hot area today that she is being invited by many people. She is recognized as a global leader in EdTech today. It started as a student project. Right? So today is the best time as a student for you to start looking at, because employment opportunity may be shrinking, but entrepreneurship opportunity is amazing. At IIM Bangalore, we have a project. It's called India Design Innovation Challenge. Look at it. We received 1 lakh applications from students last year. So the first 100 will get money to convert your idea into prototype. The next 50 get more money. The top 20 should start a company while studying. You'll get 20 lakhs to start a company while studying. We have now around 20 companies running like that, students like yourself. And during this crisis, they've come up with amazing ways. There's one student from Mumbai built up sanitation tunnels, a kiosk to test the patients very well, right? There's one student, is able to create 3D printing of mask, right? And there's one student started creating how to make oxygen from the air, because the ventilator, it's not possible in many tier 2, tier 3 places. Oxygen is important for the people who are in COVID. It's done by a student. So this is the best time as a student to jump in the entrepreneurial bandwagon, grab this opportunity, convert your dream, and don't stop at it. Any problem you pick, start working on it. I'm sure you'll win. What you need is uniform. Umesh's perseverance. 5 years he persevered. Today he's competing with Google, Apple, and Amazon, right? And he's winning. That's the beauty of it. So I'll just stop here. I think we have 12:30, and then look at Ravi. Is there any question that I need to answer?
Yes,
How much time we have?
Yes, sir.
Many questions. So over to you, Ravi, now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So before taking few questions, should I play the video?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So for all the those who have joined here, so let's see one video.
What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? In a world of inaction, overpromising and underdelivering, every second man seems to claim himself an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone that would never call himself an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone that is happy to work while all others are out partying. An entrepreneur's drug is success. He is addicted to success. And finally, the entrepreneur knows one simple fact. I will make it, maybe not immediately, but absolutely and definitely.
You have to hustle. You have to think outside the box to make things happen when it seems impossibly difficult for anything to happen. To continue to get up off of the canvas when you are beaten down relentlessly. Win, learn.
Ravi sir, you're not audible.
Ravi, you are not audible.
Am I audible now?
No, very low.
Okay, that
No, Ravi, you are not audible. Very low.
Hello.
Yeah, now
Hello.
it's fine. Now it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. So I'll pick few questions, sir. There is one very particular question. So so many ideas keep coming in my mind. How to find out which idea I should work on? This question is
So I
asked
think
by
that's a great question. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a mentor, I always say entrepreneur's strength is that your ability to find problems, right? Your weakness is that you'll find too many problems to solve, right? So once you find one problem, you just stop listening. You go deeper on it. So if you have 4 ideas, and then just think about that, which one you think that, the most that makes you enjoy. You need to enjoy working on that problem. Just find out. The second is that how deeper that problem is, right? Most of the time that people keep their ideas to themselves. I have people coming to me and say, sir, I have an idea, can I patent? Ideas are nothing. Execution is. Google is the 15th search engine, right? And so that your ability to identify your iPod, what Apple started, there are like many companies before that. It is all about the execution. So the more you share, talk to your ideas with people, it gets validated. Whether people are saying that I have this problem or not, or the more people, as I said, more people saying that your idea is bad, that you are on the right track. Pick that one, and after that you stop. Keep working on it next 3 months on just only on that idea. Next.
Okay. So this is one more question. Hello. So
Yes.
this question is by Tanya Verma. She's asked, for early stage startup, how should you think about the finding the right product market fit, especially during the post-COVID era, seeing the uncertainty in market?
Correct. So that's what, if you're in the 3 areas, what I mentioned, there is a market already: health, essential, education. These 3 are very, very, very important today. Anything you're doing around these 3, market is readily available. You don't even need to spend any money. Like if you have it today, if you find a vaccine, look at that, you'll be the richest person in the world tomorrow, right? So like this, look at these problems around us in the health. What are the things? So I'll give you an example. There is an entrepreneur who came up with an idea to see that, to analyze your the drainage water, to see that is there anybody in the region has COVID, right? So that the entire region should be blocked, because today we're testing people, right? It is taking time. So he came up with an idea that, okay, here is the entire drainage from that region is coming through this pipe. I'll put a sensor in this pipe. I'll see that is there a COVID in that water. And then I'll alert the authorities that this region, there is somebody has problem. Simple idea, right? Governments are signing up with him. It's like this, utilize this current crisis for it. Second, if you already started an idea, repurpose your skill to see that, okay, I want to solve a problem, but today it is not good enough to do that. Park that idea. Can you apply your skill for today? So I have an entrepreneur who was, connecting the selling handlooms to the people in apparel industry, right? The people are not buying shirts now. So immediately she went to that apparel industry and started making masks. Second week of lockdown, she got a 3 crore worth of orders for masks with advance payment. So that's what you repurpose your skill. A person who was making an electric motor, and he said, no, who's going to build an EV now? It's going to take time. But he contacted a ventilator manufacturer and said that I have a motor that can make you more efficient. He already got a contract. It's like that. Can you repurpose your skill to the current needs? What I call pivot to adapt to the current needs. If it's possible, do it. If this pivoted idea is stronger than your original idea, so what? Continue with the pivoted model. There is nothing wrong. Yesterday, this startup had sent me a neem-based hand sanitizer. Right? He was in skiing. So he called me the next week, the second week of lockdown. He said, Sir, I used to, help government school teachers and schools in skilling and also finding jobs for the first year college students from tier 4, tier 5 colleges. But now I'm not able to contact anyone. I said, just look around, find the places and look at, can you do anything on health? And he called me yesterday, said that here is a neem-based hand sanitizer. I made it with a partner who had the technology in Kerala. And then he said that I already have a 50 lakhs of revenue, right? So this is what that you need to be doing, that how do you repurpose your skill, pivot to adapt. There is nothing wrong in it. Go next.
So one last question, sir. This is from Saurav Sharma. He is asking, sir, why 90% of the funded startups fail in first 5 years in India?
Yes. So if you look at the first category of startups, what I mentioned, they blindly copy US and China, right? They've not analyzed what the Indian market is. And the way the US startups work is about, if you look at in US, there's one Pepsi and one Coke. There are two competitors compete between these two. Everybody else is skilled, right? You have a McDonald's and Burger King. Everyone else is skilled. The US model is about you'll have only one or two players. So you are stuck with these two players. So then they just spend money to acquire customers. When they become bigger, then they will start charging more because the customer has no choice. So similarly in India, the Uber came and then Ola came, right? Ola copied Uber. So, but what happened that, they started giving discounts and then a lot of revenue.
Okay. Sir, your video is...
Right, India is a head market. So those people are following the US model of startup model that, what they call growth hack. Come up with an idea, grow very, very fast by throwing money at it, buying customer. You cannot buy a customer. Customer should buy from you. So that model is very flawed in the country. So that is why they all struggle to do it. So that is why the second category, what I say, that it's all started from the problem. And there is a market because there's already a person having the pain point. So if that is fit, and you will do amazingly fine. So during this crisis, all my portfolio is doing amazingly well because each one is solving a simple social problem. Crisis, people still create waste, need to be disposed. There's more waste now, more dangerous waste now should be managed properly. There's more revenue for her, right? More waste means more gas I can create, right? And I know a problem with the global world about the oil prices going up. So now entrepreneur is solving oil price problem with giving LPG. So that's RBI is encouraging bio-CNG. None of these guys have a problem, right? Because they are working on a basic fundamental of a business. Problem, solution, happy customer. Yeah, next.
Sir, one last question. This is on the YouTube live chat. This one is asking, how should we take up the failure? What if I fail in my startup? How should I?
Nothing. Don't worry. If failure means that's a good thing. That if you are a student, if you fail, a failed entrepreneur is equivalent to a person with 10 years of experience. People will hire you because as a student, your practical ability is limited. But with an entrepreneur, you are highly practical. You are applying what you learn. You become a well-rounded because a CEO in a startup is called Chief Everything Officer. Right? You've done everything possible in the startup. So you are a very good candidate for many companies to hire you. So be proud in saying that I failed. Because in India, we don't encourage failures, right? If it's a failed person, we put a chapa and that is useless. That should go away. You should go brag about it, that why you failed. And knowledge, share your wisdom is that why you failed. Right? More people will listen from you that, you are a failed person. People learn. That stigma should change that, because I see that in people in LinkedIn, they'll come as a startup, they'll talk to me, and then suddenly they will even disappear. after 1 year they'll come LinkedIn back it, I'm working in Infosys, right? But 1 year they've gone underground. They're afraid to tell people that I failed, which is wrong. You should come and say that I failed, so what? Nothing wrong. Next time you do it better. Yeah, you learn. Yeah.
That's a great message for everyone here. So like even a failed startup is nothing but a fail, but there is always a learning. So I guess we have covered almost.
See, in India, people who are failed. Yeah, in India, people who are failed who disappear. In US, the failed entrepreneur call himself a serial entrepreneur, right? If you fail, you call yourself a serial entrepreneur. Okay, good.
Okay, so I guess we have covered almost all the sir, this is like more of a repeated question. I guess you have covered almost all the questions in your talk. So sir, we recently just in this last 3 days, we have formed the e-cell for GU, Galgotias University, and we would like you to inaugurate this officially and make it official inauguration of this e-cell. So can we start with your permission, sir? And obviously with permission of Honorable VC ma'am.
Yes.
Sure. So you can
see that he has brought this passion.
Yes. So sir, you can just say.
What should I do? I declare the e-cell of this university is open now. All the entrepreneurs, bombard your, with Ravi, take this forward. We're all there to help you. I'm glad to be there and create a historic moment at this university. And thanks, Preeti. I think you brought your, passion into this. It's very nice.
So this is 33 member onto our cell team. It's a big university, so we need to have a big team to cover everyone. And yesterday we had a brainstorming meeting with all these students, and this is what we come up with. So you can see this is what we are planning to have this in next 1 year. So you can see so right from promoting the entrepreneurship from first year, targeting the women entrepreneurship, mock pitching event, business plan competition, and then obviously the last part like the investors connect and talk on the investment funding. So you can also see, sir, if you would like to add anything, we are happy to incorporate in our plan.
Great, Ravi. Congratulations and
very good.
Congratulations, students, for forming finally e-cell. The logo seems to be great. Good.
Yeah, we are still working on this logo. We have not yet made this official. It is just a preliminary.
Good, great.
So Naga sir, you want to give any message to this newly formed e-cell?
Yes, I think the one is about the great to see that already this number of students are there. That student power is very amazing because you have a lot of energy, and can we channel that energy into solving problems? I'm sure that you're very sad today PUBG is being banned, but I think now you're free, so you can just move all that energy into probably solving problems around us. And you're all very rightly placed in Delhi, which have many number of problems. I will also post it on the chat room about tomorrow agri technology presentation by the government. So attend all this, understand how these technologies are available, leverage all the labs facilities that you have in your college whenever it is open. But I think nothing should stop you. Pass this energy, because we have seen that in what Preeti worked in, Ravi worked in the earlier institute. It took like few years. Every year I was doing this talk to the students. Then the years were moving. We started seeing the next year onwards, the students who are sitting in the audience was with me talking. So that's the power that this did to all the students, that they become entrepreneur, right? I think last session we did it that institute. I have this 4 entrepreneurs with me on the stage. They were all students earlier. And this person was telling, sir, 4 years back, what you told I was listening to you in this last bench in that auditorium, but today I'm glad I'm sitting with you and telling my story. So this is the same opportunity for all of you that in the next 6 months, next 1 year, I want you guys to join me telling your story, motivate your junior students to say that, because you can connect with your students better telling your stories than I do, because a very long time back I can give beyond. But you are more powerful to tell your own students, say that how was the entrepreneurship journey. So I want to encourage all of you, take this seriously. This is a great opportunity. I think Preeti is very passionate about entrepreneurship. Everything you would need, I'm sure she will open the door for you to achieve that in the institute. I've seen her doing that in the previous institute as well. It is possible. So all the best.
Thank you so much, Naga sir, for your motivating words and all praises. So, two things I would like to request you to, we can connect apart from this, but then I would like to request to mentor our students at least once in a month, if you can. And the faculties too, they are also excited about many of my business faculty and the School of Finance and Accounting. They have also joined the computer science faculty. Almost all faculties are also there. This is being telecasted on live on YouTube as well. And second, I declare on behalf of universities some seed funding, because I could see a lot of questions as well. So small fund of 1 lakh rupee to start with. I'm announcing at this for e-sale. So dear students, you need not to worry about the funds, which I could see some questions. The seed money, this is just seed money to begin with. And once you will grow, you will start with your activities, you will see the funding is not an issue. The Honorable Chancellor sir and CEO and me, we will be always with all of you, and the mentors are there. So it's now your turn to exhibit, to grow, and the whole universe is yours. It's a really passionate world, and enjoy every bit of that. Being a part of entrepreneurship, that journey is very beautiful. So whether you become an entrepreneur or not, that may not be, that's really, we cannot predict, and you also cannot think of that. Maybe that can lead you to entrepreneurship or not, but yes, that will make you successful, individual for sure. Because the up and down, and then all the experiences you will be gaining during this entrepreneurial journey, that's really a lesson of the life, which you cannot learn out of any other thing than entrepreneurship. So all the best guys, and thank you so much, Ravi, for all your efforts, day and night, 24/7. You were there for 3 days, 4 days, and then you did it. So that's the passion. Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you.
Always pleasure. Thank you so much, sir. That's inspiring and always a learning experience for when we hear you. Over to Sophia Pillai ma'am for delivering the formal vote of thanks. Over to Sophia ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. It gives me immense pleasure to propose the vote of thanks at webinar organized on turning crisis into opportunity and students entrepreneurship by Galgottias University. Firstly, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our Honorable Chancellor, Mr. Sunil Galgottia, for providing us platform to put our efforts into action. I would like to extend my gratitude towards our Honorable CEO, Mr. Dhruv Galgottia, for his constant guidance and support. I'm highly obliged to Honorable Vice Chancellor for mentoring and guiding us for organizing such events. And my sincere thanks to Mr. Nagarajan Prakasan for guiding and enlightening young minds. I'm also very, very thankful to Mr. Ravi Kumar Tiwari, Startup Mentor and Ecosystem Enabler, Galgottias University, for organizing such a wonderful event in very short span of time. And lastly, I would like to thank all the participants and budding entrepreneurs for joining us today. Thank you all once again. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Naga. Shall connect soon. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.